everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss another concept related to environment. We are going to talk about photochemical smog and what is the difference between photochemical smog and sulphurous smog. Now what do you mean by smog? So as you can see, smog is a portmanteau word that is made up of these two terms, the fog and the smoke. So fog and smoke. These two things, when they combine together, they make smog. So in the early 19th century, this term was seen that there is a lot of smog. What is it? Smog is when there is fog and fog becomes too dense. It becomes even more denser and more heavier because of the presence of smoke. So smoke is there because of the burning of fossil fuels, incomplete combustion, all of the anthropogenic activities and the natural processes also. There is this smoke that is present. And because of this combines, the smoke is going to combine with the fog that is there in the environment. It will make the fog more denser and it is called as smog. So this is the whole phenomena. Let us discuss about these two types of smog. First, we will pay greater detail to the photochemical smog because every time I see questions asked from this topic. Photochemical smog basically is a mixture of pollutants that are formed when nitrogen oxides and VOC, that is the volatile organic compounds, react to the sunlight, creating a brown haze above the cities. It tends to occur more often in summer because that is when we have most of the sunlight. So the ultraviolet rays of the sun react with the nitrogen present there, the nitrogen oxides present in the atmosphere and with the VOCs, and this creates a kind of a thick layer that is called as smog. It is called as the photochemical smog, right? So photochemical, by just knowing the process, you know that sun would be involved in this process. It is greatly seen in the summer time because sunlight is more during this time. So there are some primary pollutants and secondary pollutants that are there. What are primary pollutants? We discussed that in the previous video also. Primary pollutants are the pollutants that are going to affect the air quality. They are directly present or emitted in the atmosphere, in the environment that we have. So it can be NO2, NO, VOCs, the volatile organic compounds that are present. While when these compounds are merging together, they make the secondary pollutants like O3, ozone and PAN, right? Let us go forward and read about these pollutants. Primary pollutants. Two major primary pollutants are nitrogen oxides and VOCs that combine to change in sunlight in a series of chemical reactions. What are secondary pollutants? The secondary pollutant that causes the most concern is ozone, that is O3. Now ozone is, of course, there is good ozone and there is bad ozone. So you have to distinguish between that. Good ozone definitely protects us from ultraviolet rays and we are now scared because ozone layer is depleting. But this ozone that is present around us right now, it's a harmful secondary pollutant. So it's a harmful ground level ozone that we have to do away with. Many other hazardous substances are also formed like PAN. Then what are the major sources of the photochemical smog? How this smog is created? There are some of the biogenic sources. So in nature, there is bushfire, lightning, there is microbial processes that occur in soil generation. For example, soil is going to generate nitrogen oxides. VOCs are produced from the evaporation of naturally occurring compounds such as the terpenes. So naturally also sometimes these pollutants can be there. These are called as the biogenic sources. Then we have anthropogenic sources that are human-made, man-made, man-created sources. Like nitrogen oxides are produced mainly from the combustion of fossil fuels, particularly in the power stations and from the motor vehicles. VOCs are formed from the incomplete combustion of fossil fuels and also sometimes while making buildings, while constructing a new place, you use PVC panels. From there also VOCs are secreted in the environment. So there can be biogenic sources, there can be anthropogenic sources from where you can have these pollutants and it can cause photochemical smog to occur. This is the reaction that is present given below. In the simple description you will see how nitrogen oxide can be broken down by sunlight to form nitric oxide, and then you have oxygen radical, that is O, that is secreted, and then there is formation of O3, ozone, and this is a ground level harmful ozone. Also, we have nitric oxide, NO, that is a harmful substance for the environment. So, we have NO2 plus sunlight that gives out NO plus O. You can look at this formula and see how we have the products such as PAN that are created at the very end. So, we have the creation of O3 here. O3 again is going to be combined with nitric oxide to produce nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. Let us go forward. So, this photochemical smog is also known as Los Angeles smog. It can be asked from this name also in your paper. It is also called as Los Angeles smog. It is most prevalent in the urban areas with high concentration of automobiles, because there only nitrogen dioxide would be there. It does not necessitate the use of smoke or fog. Nitrogen oxides and hydrocarbon vapors emitted by the automobiles undergo photochemical reactions in the lower atmosphere, and this kind of a brown haze would be seen in the atmosphere. Here, you do not always need fog or smoke. It can be present because there is nitrogen dioxide secreted, and because of that there will be sunlight reaction, and the smoke, the photochemical smog would be created. While as compared to your sulphurous smog, there is the need of fog there, right? So, you do not need fog or smoke to be present there. Let us go forward and see sulphurous smog. Sulphurous smog now is also known as London smog. It is caused by high concentration of sulfur oxides in the air, which is caused by the use of sulfur containing fossil fuels, particularly we know coal. Dampness and the high concentration of the suspended particles in the air aggravate this type of smog that is present. So, there is a distinction between these two types of smog. We have the industrial smog that we also called as the London smog. We have the photochemical smog, which is also called as the LA type of smog. It is grayish in color while it is brownish in color. This sulphurous smog is mostly because of the burning of the coal or oil at the larger power plants, while it is basically because of the solar radiation that plays a big part here. The reaction involves nitrogen oxides and the organic compounds like hydrocarbons. Here, sulfur oxides participate and combine to create the industrial smog, and it is directly related to the automobile uses, right? So, this is the distinction between the industrial smog, also called as the sulphurous smog, and this is the photochemical smog, also called as the LA smog. This is called as the London smog as well, right? So, I hope you understood the distinction between these two. While it is very important to study the photochemical smog, you also should know about the industrial smog, because there are questions being asked from these two kinds of smog that are present. I hope you understood the concept. Let us quickly revisit what we saw in this video. So, first of all, we discussed hota kya hai smog in very layman terms. Then we saw how the primary pollutants and secondary pollutants are present. You need to learn and you need to read more about O3, that is ozone. So, which is the good type of ozone, which is bad, which is present in the stratosphere and which is present in the troposphere. So, what is your homework? In the comment section, you are going to type and you need to write a little bit about O3, right? Let me know if you have already studied about it. Then read a little bit about PAN. These two are the secondary pollutants. You have primary pollutants like NO2, NO and VOCs. And with the presence of all of these things reacting with the ultraviolet rays coming from the sun, what is created? We have the photochemical smog that is present. It is more prevalent in the summer time. Why? Because ultraviolet rays ka hona bahut zyada zaruri hai, right? So, this is the photochemical smog. Then these are the pollutants. Then we discussed about the sources. Sources like you have The microbial processes, bushfires, lightning, these are the biogenic sources. You have anthropogenic human sources like the motor vehicles, power stations, incomplete combustion of fossil fuels. This is a reaction that I want you to write it down. I know they don't ask all of these things directly, but for your knowledge, you need to know this reaction. Okay, then we talked about what is the other name of this type of smog. It is also called as the Los Angeles smog. And also remember this point. So the presence of smoke and fog is not that important. Then we talked about the sulphurous smog, which is also called as the London smog. And then finally we discussed the difference between these two, right? I hope you will read this concept and the things would be even clear. If you have any doubt after this as well, you can ask me that in the comment section and we'll surely reply to you. Thank you.